You think Caleb Williams is the top guy, and do you think it will be somewhat of an easy decision, whoever has that number one overall pick, or do you think Drake Maye will make his way deeper in the conversation as we get closer to the draft?
No, I think it'll be a discussion between the two guys. I think Caleb Williams probably is the number one guy for me, but I think there will definitely be teams there that have Drake Maye as their number one prospect in the draft. I think the concerns anyone would have had for Caleb Williams all manifested themselves this year, right? Like anything that was on the negative and his con side of his ledger in the scouting profile, all of that was magnified this season. So that's going to make teams a lot more leery and a lot more concerned about him as a prospect. And meanwhile, Drake Maye, I think is a bit more of a sort of conventional prospect, and there will be teams that just conservatively lean in that direction anyway. So I think it will be a discussion. I think most people will end up with Caleb Williams as their number one guy, but I definitely think it's close between the two.
What red flags do you think for Caleb Williams on the field? Do you think that some teams may lean towards, more of your traditional size-wise, especially in Drake Maye?
Yeah, it's not size, I think, that's concerning for him. It's just the play style. He plays with that Patrick Mahomes type of game, which is completely outside of structure and trying to make crazy things happen. And the thing that's defined Mahomes as unique has been his absurd strike rate at that stuff, right? Like Mahomes he's doing more of it and it's more spectacular, but Brett Favre did that, right? Like this is Aaron Rodgers did that. Like it's not stuff necessarily we've never seen before. The frequency and the success rate of it is like Brett Favre. These were critical flaws in Brett Favre's game. He made a lot of those things work, but he also consistently threw the ball to the defense, making these crazy, across the body throws that you're not supposed to do, right? The 2009 NFC Championship game, they lost that game because Brett Favre attempted one of these passes that you're not supposed to attempt. The frequency with which Mahomes makes a real mistake doing that is incredibly low.
Right.
And that's the thing that really differentiates him from all these other quarterbacks, a lot of whom play with this type of style. For a while, Caleb Williams was doing that. And again, same thing. He wasn't making those mistakes. This year he did. Like this year he went too far over the line, and similar types of plays he was throwing right to defenders. And that, like, I think teams could have convinced themselves that he's just on that Mahomes spectrum. He's able to play this way and not make big mistakes, not make the glaring errors that most quarterbacks do. And, we found another one. This year, I think, is going to make teams, reassess that and go, no, he's just as human as these other guys. And actually, if he plays this way all the time, we're going to have some problems and we're going to need to, force him into being a more conservative type of quarterback, which I don't think is the easiest thing in the world to do. So I think that's his big weakness that just became a more obvious problem this year.